Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 45. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Part of the daily crew. Sorry we missed a video yesterday. Or I guess, yeah, it would have been yesterday. I get a little sick, not super sick, just kind of a cold sick. My wife gave me some kind of sickness that uh, drained my sinuses out of the front of my face for hours on end. I figured nobody wanted to see that. so so we missed out on the video, but feeling much better today. I took some Robitussin, followed it up with some Robitussin nighttime, slept for 11 hours, and now good as new, back in action, ready for some drafts. Let's get to it. This is the this is probably the last draft of the season. I think the season ends in a couple of hours from now. And so I don't think we'll push our way into the numbering digits, but again, we're pretty happy with how our season has gone. An interesting pack here. I think that you just get stuck taking the Infernal Grasp. I don't want to. I shouldn't say stuck taking the Infernal Grasp. It's just quite a good card. I look at things like Spellrune Painter and just know of what a really big build around card that kind of thing is. But this is a very kind of like aggressively red-black centered pack. So I think we're looking to take the Infernal Grasp. I don't think the Mask of Gristlebrand will ever table. This is more of a really control decky kind of card. But the things I'm kind of looking at here are: do we ever table the Moonrager Slash with the Spellrune Painter? And I don't think we do. I think we might get lucky and have like a Digraph Rebirth table, and we could look to play um, whatever green, black, blue is called. But from this pack, it's just really like aggressively centered. We'll see if like the Interloper or the Digraph Rebirth kind of things table. It's tough to really grasp on what you think you could get back out of that pack, since uh, red, green, and or the red and the black cards tend to not really jump out here. And man, what a pack if we had just jumped in on the Spellrune Painter and then just get gifted with the Thermo Alchemist. This is asking for trouble, is exactly what this is. There's going to be someone kind of like in the middle of the pack that took that Spellrune Painter, and then they're immediately going to get a Storm Skrillex right out of it, and then they're just going to draft blue-red. You really can't be out here with like multiple blue-red drafters, but the Thermo Alchemist is the take here. This is just such an incredibly powerful card amongst a ton of decks. If we end up in red-black, it's fine, right? This still activates a lot of the things like Arrogant Outlaw without you having to get yourself into combat. But this has been a really weird set of cards. Not really a lot high-powered in Esper. I mean, you could be just taking the Falcon Abomination to go with the Grasp and look towards blue-black, but Thermo Alchemist is just like such a super high-powered card that it is one of the red cards I'm willing to take early. Okay, and so how do we look at this? It's again, I don't really want to be taking Vampire Interlopers here. It's just the power level's so low. This is again another like really weak pack. This has been a strange set of weak cards, but like the best card out of all of these would be the Fading Hope. But I don't think we land into blue-red. It feels like somebody in the middle of the table is going to be the blue-red drafter, and that's not going to be us. I think we just have to take the Vampire Interloper here, pair it up with the Infernal Grasp, and then we'll figure out what kind of aggressive deck we get ourselves into. Okay. Well, I shouldn't say it's like the first inkling of blue cards that we've seen, but this is the first indicator that, hey, maybe blue is actually a bit open here. I mean, it was fine. We passed the Unsummon in the previous pack. We're looking at the Gale Drifter here, but the Gale Drifter is not like super exciting in blue-black. So I'm just going to go with the Midnight Ambush, see if we can't get a more clear indicator of what is actually open here in the next pick or two. Okay, so I mean, there are playable and decent blue cards. I mean, if we ignore that we have Vampire Interloper, we're pretty okay with just kind of playing anything in those terms, in terms of like being a decent blue-black deck. The Larder Zombie might be the pick here, but I'm going to go with the Brimstone Vandal. I think like our big build-around for this deck is actually going to be the Thermo Alchemist. And I think we might be able to just get like the red-black control deck together here. So let's pick up the Brimstone Vandal. start to see where this takes us. It's probably not. It's probably not going to take us far. If we wanted to go like super all in on red black, the Arrogant Outlaw would be the pick here. I think we have to just accept that blue is probably open. I'm going to switch over into the Revenge of the Drowned. See where that gets us. Okay, there is a second Brimstone Vandal. I'm trying to think if we ever end up in like blue-red. It sucks that we passed on those startles, but I think blue is probably open here. We'll take the Geist Wave. Okay. Come in with the Consider. Ooh, the Painter did table. Oh my gosh, if we find that Storm Skrillex in the next pack, oh, that's going to be insane. Maybe we do end up in blue-red. I just didn't think it was a possibility, but all right. Possibilities it is. Perhaps we are actually the Izzet drafter at the table. Insane. Insane. All right, so yeah, not a bad place to pivot. We're never going to play Vampire Interloper in blue-red. These black cards could find their way in. We're going to have to really like kind of stop and see if we can't pick up some mana fixing if we end up in a more control decky style thing. But we're looking to really try and be like the Festival Crashers deck here. So I'm going to go with the Unblinking Observer. I don't think we're going to be out here trying to like dirtle with the Ardent Elementalist. I think we're going to try and be pretty aggressive here. So let's get these over here. Consider is very good in this style of deck. Blinking Observer, Skrillex. Okay. I don't think we'll play Component Collector. So yeah, this is looking to really come together as kind of this Festival Crashers, Spellrune Painter, Storm Skrillex, take advantage of playing a bunch of spells kind of deck. Good. As we open Lord of the Forsaken, he doesn't really play in anything that we've been trying to assemble. It sucks that we kind of found what was open here and see the collection of Lord of the Forsaken Dualcraft Trainer. But yeah, I think we're gonna like firmly be into the spells deck. I think with this pack we're going to try and table Neonate's Rush. It plays serviceably here, and then we just need to pick up the Geist Wave. The kind of early tempo-y style cards tend to be quite good. I wish we'd have managed to like pick up Startles. I was seeing some of those like Startles circle around in the last pack. I think we took Revenge of the Drowned over it, but it's just what plays so fantastically is with this style of deck. Gives you a bunch of aggressive elements to cycle and then continue being aggressive. But here with a pack like this, I'm not like willing to go like super risky. I don't think this Voldaren Ambusher will ever table, and we'll probably end up with a handful of vampires here. So I think that's our take. We're looking to wheel the Stolen Vitality and Covetous Crasher. It could be fine here. I don't really look to be the kind of deck that we're trying to play like Electric Revelations and discard Disturb cards out of our hand. It's just going to be dead too frequently. So we'll pick up the Ambusher. Oh, man, I see these blue-green cards and I just get really excited. I don't think we can do anything with it here. This pack has not been good to us. We haven't seen any Festival Crashers. Again, I'm going to try and wheel these Stolen Vitalities. Maybe we need to look towards Secrets of the Key here. Oh my gosh, I can't make myself say things like that. Let's at least pick up the Stolen Vitality to make sure that we have one. These packs have not been good. Here's a Startle. The 3 cards come back. Can we ever get a Lambolt Harrier? Probably not. It's going to be like the Mask, the Blood Pact, Return to Nature. Oh man, the blue-red was so open in the last pack. It's just these things have not... it's been a low roll of cards for us here. F. Okay, so there is the Abandon the Post here. I do really like to ensure that we have one copy, but I think we just need things like Unblinking Observer. He's not particularly good in the deck that we've assembled. He has a place here, but You know, we're really looking to pick up Festival Crashers, and they just have not been here. Here's our first one. That's a bit of a bit of a saving grace for this pack as we get ourselves out of pack 2. This has been a really weak set of cards. Blinking Observer number 3, not what we're looking for, but he serves his purposes here. Now let's see if we can at least wheel some of these like Stolen Vitality type cards. I forget what was in the initial pack 1 that we were interested in. It was the Neonight's Rush. And I think that's still where we want to be. Having these cycle cards is ultimately pretty important. We don't want to play multiple copies of Revenge of the Drowned. It just tends to be too expensive. But we tend to play like the Stingers. We might find another early game Vampire package to pair off with the Voldaren Ambusher. And so it's not unreasonable to be playing this the Neonight's Rush for 2 mana. It's just what really lets you pop off with your Spellrune Painters and your Skrelixes, having the cards that come out in cycle. Right, the Stolen Vitality. So we have like all the tools for the Festival Crasher deck. We have 3 Crasher-esque units in the Crasher itself, the Spellrune Painter and the Skrelix. I would like to pick up one more Festival Crasher, and then we need to just kind of like fix up a bit of our early curve. We'll be looking okay here. Not going to let Winterthorn Blessing guy get a second get a second treat in the Simic card tabling. The Dread Knight. Oh man, as we draft this and you see things like Angel Fire Ignition pop up, it's just like I see it and I'm like, can I ever get myself out of blue? Because the blue cards that we have here, Unblinking Observer is not that good. Storm Skrelix it's fine, but you'd rather be doing this with the Crashers and the Spellrune Painter and then just not playing the Skrelix. The thing that worries me if we try to jump in to Boros, like say everything goes perfect here, we get the Angel Fire Ignition in this pack, we get the Sunrise Cavalier in the next one, or at pick 9, then we have to have a Festival Crasher show up at some point in the draft, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I want the Organ Hoarder here, and we'll just be sad about our our not good happenings here. We could look towards Jack-o'-lantern. It's going to be interesting. We need to note that this is here, just in case we do table that Angel Fire Ignition. I don't think it's going to happen, but with this, I'm going to take the Scab Wrangler. It's one of the. It's not like ridiculous in blue-red, but it's better than Baithook Angler, and I'm hoping to table the Brimstone Vandal here. Okay, we got a Galvanic Iteration. I mean, that's going to be pretty nice, just dropping double copies of Stolen Vitalities. I think we have to take it. And if we table the Voldaren Stinger, I'll actually feel pretty decent about this deck. Flame Channeler. Typically, Flame Channeler is super strong in these decks, but if you take a note of our spell composition real quick, we only have the one Neonight's Rush as a burn spell. We just have to take the Moonrager Slash out of this one. It's a little unfortunate. There's a real gift, though, and a Reckless Stormseeker. Dang. Okay. Don't mind if I do. Okay, well, here we want the... Oh, that was a super click. I'm sorry. I was going to say, we want the Abandon the Post. This is our one of our premier ways to just close out a game. So happy enough to add it. I'm not going to play any of these. Storm Skrelix number 2. Kind of is what it is. I mean, we would much rather be playing Festival Crashers just because they're so cheap, but he can close down a game. Okay, interesting draft. Site. The gift of blue red. I guess it was just the pack 2 that was kind of disappointing for us. And I think this deck would actually look pretty reasonable if we just had one more Festival Crasher. 7-0, easy peasy. It's weird, as I kind of like look through these, the thing that I thought would table that didn't was that Gift of the Ancient, whatever the Investigate blue card is. I would have actually liked to have had that in this deck. But it's another way to kind of just like pop off 2 spells. Alright, so the Sunrise Cavalier did table, but we're not going to be playing it here today. I kind of like Harvest-Tide Infiltrators in these decks. He's not like super powerful, but it does have Trample, which tends to be fairly important. It's not going to get played over the Brimstone Vandal, though. Take you out. These are all getting played. I like the unblinking observer here. We can, like, it's just so good. It can kind of like come down, maybe get in an attack, maybe get in 2 attacks, maybe get in a trade, but then it can still just amp up. You know, we need a lot of mana for our big spell chains. Like if we want to have a turn where we play Abandon the Post and Startle and Galvanic Iteration, that's, you know, a 6 mana play. It becomes a lot easier to pop off with the unblinking observers. Okay. Maybe Ardent Elementalist. You're a maybe. We don't have too much top end here, but again, like our spell chains take a ton of mana, so I'm not really intent on playing the Elementalist. He works better in more of a control decky style thing. So where are we at? Let's take a look at this real quick. I don't want to play component collectors. I think we have too many 3s to want to play the trample guy. I don't think there's anything in the board we want to play. Okay, so we can get that out of here. Our creature count is at 18. So, yeah, so we're going to at least look to take out 2 or 3 creatures. I think the Elementalist will just go. Of these remaining ones, the Unblinking Observer is the weakest. Let's take 1 copy of that out and then see where we stand. These, I don't like playing Electric Revelation. It's not a really powerful card in this style of deck. Now, I'm going to have to start cutting out the good stuff. I think we have to hang on to the 2 Stolen Vitalities. That's how we win the game with our Crashers and our Painters. Not so important with the Skrillex, but giving the Trample with the Stolen Vitality is extremely important. Want to keep the Rush. That's one of our few interactive spells. I could see getting rid of Consider. It's okay here. We don't have enough flashback for it to be like super powered all the time. So I think that can go. What's left? I think we can cut 1 Brimstone Vandal. It's like I'm never... The way I'm kind of like ranking these 3s and level of importance is be the Stormseeker and the Painter are never getting cut. The Ambusher is not like super strong in this deck, but there's a lot of times where just like the 1 point of damage is good enough, but I could definitely see like cutting it out of this. But it's like so good if you manage to just like shoot something for 2 damage. And then we do have some self-bounce things that we could use with it, with the Geist Waves and the like. But I think we can safely cut 1 Vandal. I don't... Actually, let's do this. Let's cut that out. Let's add the Vandal back in. And then I got to stop at 15 creatures, I think. So that's going to drop us back into 2 cuts. The iteration is going to stay. It's like I'm kind of looking at Revenge of the Drowned and just trying to just like slam into our opponent's board. I think we could do that. The Geist Wave tends to be okay. Maybe we do it like this. That one, 14 creatures feels a little thin in this style of deck, but I don't think we have the tools. Otherwise, we're looking to just like say like cut and abandon the post, which I guess I could see cutting abandon the post if we're playing like 2 Storm Skrillex. I think but it's like you're trying to assemble these boards to where you typically have like 2 game plans, right? Game plan number 1 would be like a really, really tempo style draw where you say play a Festival Crasher, you attack, your opponent blocks it, you startle. Then the next turn you attack with your Festival Crasher, they block, you Stolen Vitality, and you're able to just kind of like churn through, and your combat tricks are getting like bonus damage in, and so they tend to be a little bit more worthwhile because you're not just trading a card for a card, you're trading a card for a card and like 3 or 4 damage. And so you can get big tempo draws that way. The other kind of way you tend to win would be like the more like combo-oriented approach to where you just say have like 2 Festival Crashers on the board, you play Abandon the Post, Startle, and you know, you spent your 8 mana, you gave your units +6 attack, and then you just blow your opponent out for a hit for like 12 damage. But if you're looking to do that more combo kind of approach, the Storm Skrillex just flies over everything, and so it's not as important, I should say, that your opponent's units can't block yours because they tend to just not have any blockers anyways. And so that's what I'm kind of like struggling with the Abandon the Post. But I think I want to hang on to it. I just worry that we've cut too many creatures out of our deck. And I mean, maybe, I guess I could see if we want to say add back in Brimstone Vandal and then cut out another Unblinking Observer, we would still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 early plays. I think I like that. I think I like that. I do like having this kind of additional way to go over top of our opponent's cards with the Vandal. And it has Menace, so it does like land more of these kind of aggressively oriented draws where they just can't block it because they don't have the 2 blockers for it. He chunks in 4 or 5 damage over the course of the game. I think that's okay. I do like getting the second Vandal in here. Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it. Let's get in here and get to battle. All right, so yeah, weird draft. Like, I would say in the spot we're in now, this is like a 3.5 winner. But that pack 2 was atrocious, and that was what was really weird to me. There was it seemed like Izzet was just like super open, but pack 2 was just like let's take like a third pick Voldaren Stinger. Like a lot of that is just really high variance. That like as we kind of looked through pack 1 and pack 2, and there not really being any Esper cards. Like the flip side will happen as to where just blue red cards just aren't opened. But if we had even just had like a mediocre pack 2, then I'd look at this deck and be like, oh, this is a this is a 7. But we're just like a little bit short of being super strong. Maybe we could come out here and just lose to some of these diamond players and help them achieve their goals of hitting Mythic right before the season ends. But nonetheless, this hand is okay. These are the kind of things that would play much better on the play. Right, if we say get the Observer down, he gets an attack in, we follow with the Brimstone Vandal, he gets an attack in, and then we just have a bit more time after that. But we'll see. Picked up Reckless Stormseeker, which is pretty big as well. Just need a land for him. There's all of our Festival Crashers. Alright, need a land. One-time dealer. Just never block. You can't block this thing. Uh-oh. Well, this guy's showing us how to crash the festivals, that's for certain. Let us regain a bit of that tempo. But you see how like ultra scary these double Festival Crasher draws are now? Like say he plays a land, it doesn't even do anything ridiculous, right? He attacks with both Festival Crashers, plays a Stolen Vitality. That's going to hit us for 9 and take us to 10, and then he can follow up with like a Lambolt Harrier. Like these draws are like super scary. That's what I was trying to achieve with a lot of this deck. We only saw the one Crasher throughout. Yep, this is the other kind of like tempo style that I was trying to talk about. You play one spell, you get in for like the 3 chunk, and it's kind of like the Moonrager Slash goes to face and hits the board. This game's probably just out of reach now. Yeah. There's nothing we can do about this. Oh, deal that point of damage. What? Really? Great Magic Online, great. Alright, well, I try not to talk too much trash, but I mean, that's okay. Just push the salt down. Just soak it in deep. Oh, hang on, it's our turn. Okay, I'm not like seeing a Wen pop up here, but the Spell Rune Painter would be kind of the way that we'd be able to do it. Okay. Alright, well that was dumb. But as we didn't completely get the Festival Crasher deck together, I'm glad. I know we've drafted it and showed some videos on it before, but I'm glad that you at least got to see it from the other side of the table. Some of the things we'll be trying to do here. So you just have so many big draws like that, right? We're able to say, like playing a Startle. Even just a singular Startle can be so huge on these boards. It's so tough to block and interact. Any stumble tends to just fall to them. But their weakness would be if you force them into some kind of combat, and then you're able to, they play Stolen Vitality onto Festival Crashers, and then you'd say like Geist Wave it. So they're down pretty big. They lose a ton of tempo. They lose a card. They're kind of a combo deck, and they need all of their cards to be able to come out there and interact with. And not having that, just like that singular spell can just end their day so easily. We didn't have any of those interactive elements. I mean, maybe we should have looked to play the Unblinking Observer on the second turn instead of the Thermo Alchemist, just as a way to where we can catch back up, right? So if we can say on turn 4, play, random 2/3, put out a block, and then our opponent casts a spell, and we get to bounce with the Unblinking Eye, like maybe that would have been okay. But it's tough. I think against like the single Festival Crasher, dropping the Eye was fine, right? Because there's just a bunch of games to where they can't. Or, I mean, dropping the Thermo Alchemist was fine, because there's a lot of games where they just can't interact with you, right? They just have their 1/3 on the board and need to play a curve. But anyways, back to action on this one. I think this is fine. We'll start out with the Thermo Alchemist. We should be able to chunk in some damages here. Galvanic Iterations, not really something we're excited to be starting with here, but I don't know. Maybe if we get a double bounce spell and a bunch of damage to face, it could be interesting. Interesting. You discard Stormkirk Blood Thief. Must be really hurting for the manas here. How do we feel about it? I mean, do we missed a point of damage there as well? Oops. I was thinking as to whether or not I ever want to play Galvanic Iteration here. I think like the downside with this turn is, say like we make an attack. He has good blocks across the board. I'm kind of looking at what if we double bounce on his turn and then make him discard a card. But I think we're a little bit far away from that as well. So let's just add the Scab Wrangler. We'll just develop our board as they hopefully don't draw land and get kind of stuck. Okay. Bring it. Interesting he's being this aggressive. Sure what he's going to try and get out of that. Stormseeker's good. This is a little sloppy. I'm gonna blame it on the Robitussin, but I kind of felt like on this one we were going to be able to attack with the slasher as well, and that's just not the case. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get to attack with the slasher. I want to attack with 3 units instead of 2 because this guy just clearly always has haste all the time. But a little sloppy, a little sloppy. We can do that next turn if if that's the way the cards fall. Still bringing a lot of aggression over here. So get him for 6. We have the mana to pump. And then we could still follow up with the Scab Wrangler. Sure. Alright, so we have certainly missed 1 point of damage with our Thermo Alchemist. We kind of keep that in mind, but we win the game with any spell, which is nice. I'm pretty sure we can cast all of our spells and double it with the iteration. No, finally found your swamp, huh? Finally found it. All right, that was a little sloppy, but we at least got ourselves out of that one. We got ourselves out. Jeez. Yeah, it's not my fault. It's the Robitussin messing with my brains and my thinkings. My neurons are firing a little bit slow. We're looking good. Good. Yeah, so this was another one of these videos I was gonna have to like rush through so I could go and watch the Chiefs game. Turns out they play on Monday night, and so everyone will get to enjoy that. You all watch this video in your morning, get amped up for the Chiefs, watch them in the evening. It's good stuff. Delightful day for everyone involved. What do we got here? This is another potential problem we run into with the Festival Crashers, as to where if they answer our Crasher, we're hurting. We're definitely hurting if they have the answer to it. But I think there's enough going on with this hand we can keep. I'm getting kind of questioning these Galvanic iterations as to how much I actually like it. I mean, if it wasn't in our opening hand, it wouldn't feel as bad. But you know, just it's more of a game closer or late game card. See how clever he tries to get. Not very. Do we want to go ahead and play a spell? Probably not. I could see us doing it next turn, where we line up this thing to where we say Galvanic Iteration and then Geist Wave, and then the next turn we Galvanic Iteration and Stolen Vitality. I could definitely see that being a thing. No respect for the Crashers, though. Baithook Angler is one of the better ways that you can answer a Festival Crasher. Get boomed. I guess it's good to notice that copy doesn't count for Festival Crashers. That's really weird that he's only for spells played and not spells played or copied as spells played. It's weird, I tell you. And how bad is this if he has some interactivity? It's like it almost feels better if we had sent the Baithook Angler back to his hand, so we would just know if we were about to get Geist Waved here. Oh, that's so dangerous. Alright, well, let's give it a turn. We don't have to be all in just yet. And it's making stops here. I mean, I guess he does have the clue on board. But I feel a little bit better, at least not just being super all in here. Man, I counted the number of fucks Siege Eye gives, and it is 0. It is 0. Okay. Let's buy some more of that time everybody's talking about. And I'd like to see them just tap out here. Okay. We should be good now. I guess they could have the unsummon. If they have the unsummon, we're just hosed, but looks like he's lining up a block. Boomed it. There you have it. Game winner. You can see these have all been fairly interesting Festival Crashing decks. Playing against them and with them, as you can see in that game, it had been super scary. Just been a super blowout if we had made our big play onto Festival Crasher and he had a Geist Wave. That's why I was trying to bait some of those spells out. That's why we made that weird block with the Scab Wrangler there at the end. Just really trying to either get them to tap out so that we know that we're safe to drop all of our cards, or at least get some knowledge. Like if he has the 2-mana open but has the Bait-Hook Angler still hanging out in his hand, that it should be pretty apparent that they have a Geist Wave. Now, I think kind of the flip side to that and the downside to that is if he has it, we've probably just lost anyways, right? If we're just like not playing our cards, just getting in for 2, then he's certainly winning that race. But tough. I think we can keep this. It's okay with any land. Like if we draw another mountain, it's kind of okay. This isn't a super powerful hand. We really need to pick up a land. All right, well, we get in for the 5 chunk. It's pretty important. We're gonna like really have to slow it down now because we haven't drawn any land, and so the burn plan kind of fleshes itself out here a little bit. Okay. That worked for me. I was really expecting them to play like the 3/3 Cavalier. This is kind of brutal. Where we at 11 cards deep with only 2 land. Not good. We're over the 50% mark to draw some land at this point. Why would you play the Sacred Fire first? Okay. We'll catch it back up. Take that statement back. Do we think we can ever get him to trade the Bereaved Survivor for the Brimstone Vandal? I think that's a real possibility. I think there's also a pretty good chance he just doesn't block here. I think we need to get this damage in. Stolen Vitality's going to be pretty crucial to getting a win here. We're going to Galvanic Iteration the Stolen Vitality to get a big blast of damage in. Beautiful, no Coven. Okay, I think we're fine. Especially if we get this dragon down. Party Captain, you got it? Okay, so do we go for it this turn or do we go for it next turn? Like, I mean, we can make a pretty big play this turn. It just depends on where his blocks fall. I really feel like we're going to get to take down like 2 and 3 units. Yeah, I think I like it more than just playing the Skrillex. The Skrillex next turn, though, would let us, he could get in for like 6. Really close. Maybe we can get a big blowout turn next turn. I think this is okay. Like, if we're only going to get 1 turn to do it, let's do it now. I think if we had, like, a Startle, or... Well, I guess not Startle, because we can't Iteration it, but if we had another spell, right? So we could do 2 spells this turn, 2 spells next turn, then it would have been okay. I think we're good here. This is going to be a big one. Ugh. Okay. He's trying to flip his bereaved survivor here. I think it's okay. Oh, he left his dual-craft trainer back? Okay. So we're lethal, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Boom. Did it. All right. We got to the 3 wins. We were expecting 3.5 out of this one, and so we just need to pick up that half now. But no, this is how I felt about a lot of like Runeterra, and what really kind of upset me about there just never being a ranked system there. In the terms of, I feel like we could have like drafted a very easy like 2.5 win blue-black deck with this, but we found, you know, a pretty solid and realistically strong off the beaten path blue-red deck here. That you know, we're not expecting to get to 7 wins with it. Like if the barometer of you know, being good at draft and getting good draft decks is getting 7 wins, that's kind of a different story. But where you kind of like find yourself with the ranked systems is that you can you know, separate yourself from the pack in terms of being what your, you know, average diamond drafter may take to 1.5 wins, we can take to 3 wins, or what, you know, something along those lines. I think that's what we really come across with decks like this, is that this would have been a very easy draft to assemble a 2-winner, especially if you're just familiar with the more common draft archetypes, or if you don't draft too frequently and just land an Esper all the time. I think you would have really missed out on a high quality deck here. And this one, it did have, again, it had the potential to be a 7-winner deck. It's just we didn't quite find the magic there in pack 2. But it's like all the Diamond players today got the memo that that Festival Crashers is a deck. This is like the third or the fourth time we've played against Blue Red or against Boros. Okay. Well, and we are making the most out of this draw. This draw was pretty bad as it being a 4-lander with 2 Stingers and a Vandal, and then we've only drawn land. I mean, we're in it. We can still definitely win this game. It's gonna start like slowly slipping away from us, but we can do it. When a Neonate's rush. He's definitely gonna be up to shenanigans here. I think this is going to be like a Nebelgast or something, but we can still take advantage of it. I was going to say, I think he's going to play a spell. And so I don't want to just like push our cards elsewhere. But we still get the best out of this combat. As we pick up another land. Problem. Makes a blocker, sure. It's like, do we ever win the game this turn now that we've picked up the Moonrager Slash? I think we need to come in with everything. I think we're good. Can't block everything. I can do it this way. So we just need to get that one more point of damage in. But that's good. His zombie token can't block anymore now because he just lost his sludge monster. So he's kind of back into the same problem he had before, as to where he needs 3 blockers this turn, but he only has 1. And interestingly enough, if he plays 2 spells this turn, it's going to take it from night back to day. Okay, well, let's Storm Rager Slash the proper unit this time. Feels like he's going to have, like, Revenge of the Drowned. Yeah. Definitely putting that on top. Get him. Oh, feels good. For such a low roll of a hand to be able to pull down the win with it. Go me. We were just saying, nah, all these diamonds trying to push their way into Mythic so they can post on their Facebook feed. Ma, I did it once. I did it for the first time. Not today. You're running through them, demoralizing everybody with our Voldaren Stinger draws. Alright, well, we'll give it a go. We're on the play. We got a reasonable start. We're looking good if we pick up a 3rd land. Any 3rd land is fine for a lot of our needs. There it is. So, I mean, do we really want to start off with the Festival Crasher here? We're not going to make any, like, tempo plays with it, but I think we should probably at least, like, threaten it. It just feels awkward in that we're always attacking next turn with the Stormseeker, and if he, like, plays a 2/2 here, he just knows that the Festival Crasher can't deal any damage. But Alright, well what if his card here is a Cathar Commando? I'm actually kind of scared of that, so I'm just going to put the +1/+1 onto our Festival Crasher, and if he trades into it, fine. I don't want him trading into our Stormseeker here, and if we miss out on a couple points of damage, it's okay. Seems like he just didn't have anything, but I think that's realistically pretty safe. And then next turn, you know, even if we don't draw land, we can get the Stinger in with the first strike haste attack, and then have the Geist Wave if he tries to interact with our dudes. A little unfortunate. That would have been if he had like any unit there, it still would have been a big blowout attack from us, but a little bit short. Bringing all the hate on our units. Not cool, my man. Like maybe we should have picked up the land here since we're sitting with the Skrillex, but I think we can still get a big turn with Abandon the Posts. Getting to cast it twice could be pretty big here. That's what it kind of means to be getting like the Organ Hoarder in for damages when it's just going to typically get blocked by a random 2/2. But it's like if he starts tapping out for bigger styled units here, then it works out pretty well with the Abandon the Posts. Why does it stall here? Does he have like the thing that removes a card from a graveyard? I think that's why it would typically stall. And this is slightly awkward in that we want to get 2 cards on board this turn, but we can't. I'm not quite willing to trade out my Organ Hoarder. But this still leaves us in a decent spot next turn if we're able to start abandoning the post. All the removal spells. No, I guess we shouldn't have done that just yet. He gets an attack with the Morning Patrol here now, but I think it's fine. Don't make me push the button anymore. Uh-oh, he's getting us. My mistake, my mistake. Okay, then we should be lethal next turn. If he taps out for a unit or plays a land in 2 units or something, we beat all those plays. He's got tons of spells in our hand. The Stolen Vitality is a bunch of damage. I think we're good. Okay, yeah, there's nothing for a single black mana that gets him out of this. Just discards Rotten Reunion instead of casting it. Interesting. Okay. Got him. So cool. More wins, more wins. Got our buy-in back and everything with that. Good stuff. Apparently just need more Robitussin, right? Foggy brain is what you need for success. Gonna have to go buy some more. That's my big plan for the day. I already started missing the first round of games of football, but that's fine. Get some tussin. Watch the remaining football. Perhaps play some Hearthstone Battlegrounds. Not a bad little Sunday. Okay. Currently waiting. I guess we gotta wait on the last day of the fort. Well, I can't. I don't know how they do this. I know when I started in, it said there was like an hour left of the season or something, and so maybe there's some kind of divide and waiting on everyone to finish out their drafts. But can't keep this one. This is not a keeper. That's a little better. How greedy do we get with this? I mean, do we really keep a 2-lander with all the spells? I think so. I mean, probably not winning this game otherwise. Sure. Crash him. So much worse on the draw. I'm curious if we like won every game on the play and lost all the games on the draw, if that was how this matchup actually worked out. If he blocks, I'm going to bounce the witch, and then play the stinger. Okay. Well, I'm content to just race if that's what we're doing. That may not be as good. If he gets two units here, that's bad. It's like if he just plays like a 4-drop here, then we're looking pretty decent for the turn. Like looking decent. I keep seeing these little bug things and thinking like, yeah, oh, Lunarch Veteran is surprisingly good against us here. It's gonna. Ooh, he doesn't take any of the blocks. We have to start doing something. This is -1 damage with the Moonrager Slash. Hope we get the unit off board. I'm ultimately most worried about this Lunarch Veteran, but still think he's being too aggressive. But I mean, if he starts gaining life here, it's kind of brutal. Really want them to. I was gonna say, Digraph Horde is great. It sucks in the sense that he gets to gain 3 life here, but if he's going to continue to be really aggressive and we get a tempo play on the Digraph Horde, that can be gigantic. Can't play the Skrillex, which is a little unfortunate. I think we're just going to be like a mana short. How much is this? We can go for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. We get lethal on the crackback. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we need 1 blocker. Yeah, I think we're just going to be a touch off. I mean, we can win if we draw like a Geist Wave. If we could play Geist Wave and Stolen Vitality next turn, we could win. Just too much. Gaining 6 health off of the Lunarch Veteran was way too much. That's why I was considering just removing it. It's so tough for us to actually outrace that thing. This was a greedy attack with the Veteran. I don't think you did the mathematics on this one. Getting that blocker off the board could be hugely relevant. Oh, we only have first strike when we attack though. Shit. My bad. I take it back. Okay. I think we would have won that game on the play. That 6 health off the double Lunarch Veteran was just way too much for us to overcome. I think we could have done it on the play. All right, one more shot at it. Let's see if we can't get to that final battle. I believe in us. And I'm curious to check the stats and see if that's where we're at. I wasn't paying like super amount of attention as far as these things go. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Limited. This one. Look at that. On the play, 100% win rate. On the draw, 33%. Alright, what do we got here? This is going to have to be fine. It's got 2 mana, a couple 2-drops in it. We're on the draw, which we've learned is unfortunate, but we can't mulligan out of being on the draw. It's not the way things go. I think I want to get the Observer down. This is kind of a world where I want to be able to, like, either perhaps trade this off or play 2 cards next turn. This does not look like a high-powered draw from our opponent, though. He's got something. Like, the board keeps stalling here. Moonrager Slash is fine. We never would have been able to play around that. Okay. He's going to trade here. Nothing we can do about it. But if we pick up a land, we'll be fine. Like, we just need to be, like, managing this board. He plays his Moonrager Slash on our guy, fine. But we need to be in the space to where we can play 2, like, attack and play 2 cards in the same turn. Okay, let's take the Startle. We discard and abandon the post out of that as well. Okay. All right, we're getting some kind of big play lined up. We'll get to do a galvanic iteration kind of thing at some point. This is one of these spaces where we need like 100 mana. Bringing it right back at us. This would be so huge if we had a boosting unit here. Okay, maybe. The Spell Rune Painter can certainly crash through for tons of damage next turn. Ooh, he discards Lunar Frenzy. Wow. So felt that it was just a little bit short of a win or something. Really needs to play 2 cards this turn. Oh, Candle Trap. F. Alright, we can still block with it before we return it back to our hand. We have to get our Howler back. That's really the only way we have to win this game. Get our Abandon the Post. Oh no, we could have sent back the. Oh, I bet we could have won the game this turn. We could have iterationed the Geist Wave. I didn't realize we could send back Candle Trap. I thought that was return a creature. Definitely should have stopped to have read that. Can still win next turn, especially if he doesn't play a card here. But we're looking to get in for tons of damage. Okay, we're just gonna risk it. We're never winning blocking here. If he has a burn spell, he has a burn spell. Okay, so he's tapped out. We definitely win. I think we just win, right? So, oh yeah, we definitely just win here. Okay, so yeah, I thought that this Geist Wave only returned creatures. It's returned a permanent, and so we definitely could have maybe won by Geist Waving the Candle Trap. Probably would have had enough damage there to do it. We could have. It would have been slightly different though, right? We would have played the Galvanic Iteration, bounced his Candle Guide, bounced the Candle Trap, and then played the Stolen Vitality. I think we could have only done it if our Painter was on the werewolf side, so we'd be getting the +2/+2 for a total of +6. But definitely good to know. Good to know. All right, made it this far. Still didn't realize Candlegeist could or spell that bounce spell could return a non-creature. Okay, what do we got here? These hands suck, but it's too good in a mulligan. Okay. Keep leading with that island. Aggro. It's like, what if he plays like Baituk Angler here? It's just so bad for us, right? I don't want to trade my Harrier for a Baituk Angler. Dennick, though. Dennick's a worthy target of a Moonrager Slash. The game really just crash again? Oh my god. Get it together. Insane. The Wizards is probably like, oh, nobody has 3000 series video cards these days. They don't have a Micro Center down the street. They can't just go and get one. We're not gonna bother making sure our game works with modern video cards. That's exactly what their line of thinking was here. Hopefully we didn't miss out on too much. Okay. We did not. Do not like seeing that Lunarch veteran has come down, but this dude's deck just seems way better than ours. We can still do it. We can steal a lot of wins with these Storm Skrelixes and Thermo Alchemists. Hopefully, as blue-white, he just doesn't have the answers to it, right? They don't have any real removal spells, so there's definitely a world where the Skrelix can just take this game over and we can chain together those big combo turns like we've done a couple of times this draft. Okay. Block. He does the investigate thing. Okay. So do you think he ever tries to trade Dennick for Organ Hoarder? I bet he doesn't. I think these attacks are good. And we may even make a Stolen Vitality play this turn. Okay. That seems like ultra greedy. I don't think these investigations are gonna matter. Right? We're either just gonna get like a big blowout turn like 3 turns from now. And he's already got like 5 cards in hand. If he wants to spend his time investigating, that is just a supreme bonus for us. So I think that's okay. The only downside is the kind of we might have to spend. You know, we're gonna miss some Thermo Alchemist activations. This guy's bringing it. He's certainly bringing it. Can't lethal this next turn. I mean, he's only got 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. He wants to throw away the Drifter this turn. It's good. Not sure why he didn't just throw it away in front of the Organ Hoarder, but this wasn't our turn. I want to get like maximum value out of every card here, because if we aren't getting it to the max, we're just going to get, you know, he's got 5 cards in hand. And so we need like really big things to happen from this Geist Wave and this Stolen Vitality, and we need all the damage to be meaningful. And so, I mean, I can definitely see a round here where we can bounce his flyers to his hand, say like he makes big blocks onto Storm Skrelix. We can bounce Dennick and then Stolen Vitality for the extra chunks. Like we're sitting on 7, 9 damage just off of the Skrelix. That's going to be 10, 11, 12 next turn with Thermo Alchemist. So if he just taps out here, there's a very real chance that we just win the game. Oh, he's attacking. What a master of greed. You've got 5 cards in your hand, my man. And a Falcon Abomination. So the potential card to worry about here would be the bounce card. Do we just YOLO it anyways? Like the way I'm kind of looking at this is I want his. I think here's how we do it. We say Shipwreck Sifters can't block. We're not playing around the bounce card. He just doesn't have it. The Shipwreck Sifters, we say can't block. He puts Falcon Abomination in front of the Skrelix. He puts Devoted Graphkeeper in front of the Organ Hoarder. Then we Stolen Vitality and Geist Wave into the Falcon Abomination. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage, plus the Thermo Alchemist damage. I think this should be enough to do it. Blue. Leave 2 red back. Alright, target you. Oh, it's pausing. Oh, it's pausing, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Is he gonna really have the 1 mana bounce spell? How does that change things? Are we, given the way he's blocked here though? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with just the 1 spell? Okay. So it'll be 4, 9, 10, 11. And then we can win with Thermo Alchemist if he doesn't play another card. We have a block next turn with the Thermo Alchemist too. So he's got it. He's got the spell. Alright, but he shouldn't be able to kill us this turn, right? We can actually block with the Alchemist if we need to, and then we do have the Geist Wave in our hand to potentially do a little bit more. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but we have a block. Okay. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9 takes us to 1. So he plays Flare of Faith onto Shipwreck Sifters. I think that's fine. Bounce it. If he wants to replay it, we know we can beat it. Okay, so we take 7. We're looking good now. I think we might have done it, fam. Might have done it. Oof. Whew. So he's gonna remain tapped out. If he stays tapped out, we're looking good. Lanes and party captain? What a joke. Alright. Jokes don't matter. Boom. That's the stuff. Good deal. Go us. Go us. Not a bad little 7 winner. Glad we could achieve the success. Let's get this pulled up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We can just switch. I've already got my Microsoft whatever this is. Microsoft, people didn't like Edge, so we just took Chrome and we use Chrome now. And so, yeah, let's get this pulled up. So this deck, again, I feel like we've run across the Festival Crashers deck. We've drafted it a few times. I was talking about it more frequently like 2 weeks ago, right? We've been kind of on this kick of here in recent times of drafting 1 Esper color and 1 Gruul color, and that landed us into Festival Crashers quite a bit. Because the way that you end up drafting this is you don't start with the cards, right? You open up your first pack, you say, okay, there's a Festival Crashers in this. I could probably get it pick 9. And then you go to your next pack and you say, okay, where there's a Stolen Vitality in this, I can probably get it pick 10. You're not actually coming out here being like, oh, it's pick 3, I'm going to take a Festival Crashers. That's just not the way it goes. You're just taking advantage of cards being underdrafted and knowing what you're looking for. So you're really coming out here. Your main highlight and goal is to just be drafting Esper, right? And so you're wanting to be like, oh, okay, I started with an Organ Hoarder, and then I picked up a Scab Wrangler, but I saw those red cards and I know that they might table, but I want to be playing blue-black zombies, but since Esper's so overdrafted, I'm not going to be probably not going to be able to do it. What is my backup strategy if it doesn't happen? It's these cards that are going to table. And so we were kind of trying to take that to the next level, as to where, say, it's like, a pick 6. Are you willing to take kind of a more slightly above mediocre red card because you're planning on these other red cards to table? And so say you were offered up like, a pick 6 Flame Channeler, or a very mediocre blue card like the Baithook Angler or something, then you're able to really craft these super high powered decks. Because then if pick 9 rolls around and the Festival Crasher isn't there, all that you've really lost is you're down, a Baithook Angler that you took that you took a Flame Channeler over. But if those cards do roll around, then you're just getting these ultra high quality and ultra synergistic cards without giving up anything to do it. Just a very small risk reward trade in that Flame Channeler if the rest of your pack comes together. And so that's how we've kind of come to draft this deck a lot, and how we've gotten really keen on what was happening here. I feel like we played against this deck a lot throughout the day, and I feel like those opponents were probably a little behind the curve in terms of getting this deck together. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, as far as this deck goes, the big things you're looking for, I thought that game 1 was fantastic for us to play against. That is like I'm not saying that guy high rolled against us. It's just if you're able to assemble these draws to where you have 2 Festival Crashers, it's just so painful for your opponent. There's never a good block, right? And it's like they just have to be kind of like accepting that they're gonna get blasted for a ton of damage, and just hope that you don't have it. It's just, if you ever get in that space to where like your opponent has 2 Festival Crashers and you just have to try and like block one with a 2/3, you're just so aced at that point. Like, and then even if you have like a 3/3, if it gets startled or something, you're just so super far behind. And so those are like the things we're looking to piece together. There's the 2 big things you're looking for this deck is, do I have this like really aggressive tempo style draw where we get a couple Festival Crashers, or the Festival Crashers and another aggressive unit, and then we're able to play like a bounce spell and a dude, and then the next turn we're able to play a combat trick and a dude, and then we can finish off with 2 combat tricks, just blow all those games out. And then the second kind of strategy you're looking to do is maybe you chunk in like 5 or 6 or 7 damage in the early game, and then you just get a combo kill in the late game with a big Festival Crasher OTK. And so if that's your strategy, like, what is the collection of cards that you want to piece together to have those 2 things happen? A big early game tempo thing, or a late game draw to where we can chain off like 3 spells to just win the game. And so the big things that you're looking for are going to be Startle. Well, in the blue-red deck, you're going to be looking for Startle. That is the one that lets you keep playing a bunch of spells. Also lets you continue your aggression with that little zombie. You're looking for Geist Wave. Geist Wave and the Unsummon are way better than the 4 mana spell that makes the zombie. You're looking for these little aggressive vampires, mainly Voldaren Stinger. Voldaren Stinger is extremely good at like chunking in a point of damage. Your opponent doesn't block it because you have 3 mana up, and then you're able to play like a card and a Neonate's Rush. Just activating the Neonate's Rushes can be pretty big. And otherwise, your kind of standard fare of Shocks and Moonrager Slashes and the like. The thing that I always say is you do want 2 ways to give trample. You want the Stolen Vitalities. Lunar Rush is way better. If you're playing red-white instead of red-blue, you're looking for Angel Fire Ignition. And then you're looking for 1 way to mess with your opponent's blocking. We typically prefer Abandon the Post. If something happens in your draft and you can't find Abandon the Post, you're just looking for the Act of Treason card. But yeah, otherwise, I think that's kind of it. Pretty powerful little deck here. We high rolled a little bit. I think we did a little more success than I was expecting, but pretty good run nonetheless. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this pack sums up exactly what we were going for well, and how this strategy really plays itself out. We don't want to take any of these red cards here, right? The Painter, the Moonrager Slash, the Landbolt Harrier, these are all reasonable quality cards, but we want to be playing something in Esper. So we're finding ourselves taking this Infernal Grasp. I think this is a very easy Infernal Grasp, but we're looking to table the Painter, right? We figure somebody's probably going to take the Moonrager Slash. I did say it is kind of scary if somebody steals our Painter, like pick 7 or pick 8. But if the Painter tables, then we can probably go towards the Festival Crashers deck. I don't like it as much in red-black, but it's a potential for thing here. Then in pick 2, this is a tough one, right? The Thermo Alchemist is just so incredibly powerful in so many decks. This is like the only red card that isn't rare that I'll take early. Just if you end up in red black, it's fantastic. If you end up in red blue, it's fantastic. You can even find ways to get big usages of it out of like Boros. If you have a lot of say like Homestead Courages, to spread out those +1/+1 counters and get a bunch of activations. This dude's just completely fantastic, and we aren't missing out on anything here, right? We took a black card. The only other playable would be Arrogant Outlaw. If you really want to push it, I see the argument for taking Falcon Abomination here. Since blue-black is still one of the most powerful decks in the format, but the Alchemist is just so big here. And then, again, as we were talking about, if we have this wheel around to where we get the Painter and then we get the Skrillex at pick 9 and pick 10, then we can just be so locked into Izzet and be ready to go with it. And you can see there was the Painter at 9, the Skrillex at 10. And so we're keeping that in the back of our heads, right? We're not going to go out of our way to really make sure that we're drafting blue-red. Like, we could have tried to just take, the Fading Hope here and just been super all-in. But that's not exactly how I like to do it, right? If that Painter doesn't come back, then we aren't playing we aren't playing the Festival Crasher deck. And so I think the Interloper here is fine. This is quite a strong makings of a black-red Vampires deck with the Interloper, the Grasp, and the Alchemist. And so very reasonable pick here. And then, of course, the only card we're missing out on is the Fading Hope. I think that turned out quite nicely. Same kind of deal here. The way that our cards are assembling are we're going to be an aggressive style black deck with the Vampire Interloper, not really looking to branch into blue for a Gale Drifter or a Phantom Carriage. Neither of those play well with the Thermo Alchemist. And then if we're playing blue-black, then we probably just want the Midnight Ambush anyways to see if we can't table the Larder Zombie. So I think the Midnight Ambush here is fine. The Brimstone Vandal this is kind of how you land in it, right? If you're wanting to be in blue-black, then you would just take the Larder Zombie here. But we're expecting these red cards to table, and this is exactly what I was kind of talking about in terms of that the Flame Channeler thing I was talking about, and that if at the end of the day our investment into blue-red was taking a Brimstone Vandal over Larder Zombie, then we didn't miss out on much, right? We're either missing out on the Zombie or missing out on the Trapper. But if we get to pick 9 and this card is here, then we just have like a super huge amount of payoff in the Vandal. So I think that is a fantastic one here. There's no good blue or white cards in this. Well, there's the Startle, but we still don't know where we're going to land. Happy with the 1 Revenge of the Drowned. I think this is okay. Do take the Geist Wave in blue over the Brimstone Vandal. Again, this is still nice if we end up in blue-black. And then a weak consider, but our Painter and our Skrillex. And so at this point, we're pretty locked into blue-red and feeling pretty good about it. Pack 2, bit of a shit show. I would understand if you come in and take this Lord of the Forsaken. Like, we aren't super into red at this point, but having those cards table, it feels like it should really be open. But these cards here just didn't really... I felt like this was just a weird open and not so much a stretch of what we were taking. There is the Stolen Vitality to pick up at pick 10, which we did get, but I think the Ambusher is fine. I think we're pretty well locked into blue-red at this point. Nothing in these black cards, right? If we're not taking Lord of the Forsaken, none of these cards are going to be enough to push us out of blue-red, and then we're just kind of in at this point. So the Stolen Vitality is fine. Just all in all, a pretty weak set of cards, right? Not missing out on too much. I mean, the rare... like at this rare uncommon packages, Can't Stay Away, Ritual of Hope, Strangler, Sacred Fire. It's just the cards opened here were pretty weak for what we were trying to do. But yeah, all in all, went pretty well. The only downside to this kind of deck is if the Festival Crashers just don't show up. You have a lot of cards that just don't really work well together, and you have to kind of like fall back into being this controlly blue-red deck, which I really don't like. But not bad, not bad. I thought that one turned out pretty well. And so let's claim these packs. We'll open up our collection of gems, and then we'll call it a day. No, that's not how you get there. Packs, packs, please. Okay. Let's see how these fall. Oh, the gems. There's not much excitement left. I think we have like 3 or 4 mythics left. And then we'll be at the complete set. Oh, I guess it's telling us down here. We have 164 of 1068. Does that mean we need 5? Now we just need 4. I got the hostile. And Arlen? Oh, we're so close. So close to being complete on the set. Poppet Stitch? Just give them all. Are we gonna get here on the last pack? Oh, we need at least 2. So close. Alrighty, well, that is gonna do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the draft. Maybe learned how to crash the festival just a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.